Hello there guys, Erajana here for Forever Football, DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. We are here, it's game day, and we're going to preview the game before the match. I'm just too excited for this one. I wanted to do it on the day of the match. And it's Hull City at the Keepmoat Stadium now, as the title says. Please don't get mauled. Don't get mauled by the Tigers, because we need to get back on a winning run. And if there's a game to do it, it'd be against one of the top two who's been, and you see some of their fans on social media, right? They're giving it the big I am. Let's put an end to that right now. They beat Wigan 5-0. Well done, it was a good win, good hat-trick from Elite Wilkes, but I'll tell you something now, you were facing a Wigan side that hasn't got an owner and is in the bottom four. So it wasn't exactly on paper, and I think on the pitch as well, it wasn't exactly the hardest game. This will be much, much trickier in my opinion. I think that Doncaster Rovers will come out firing. We're going to have, hopefully, Anderson back in the back line, as you can see by the predicted team I've got behind me. And I think we're going to come out firing in this particular game. I think the occasion will not get to us. I think we'll just play the game, play the way we know how to play. And, you know, even when we lost against Accrington, by the way, the review of that was up this morning, so make sure you go and watch that if you haven't already. I had a bit of problems editing that and uploading that, so that's why it's been uploaded now. You saw by that review, we were actually playing better in that game than the previous two against Sunderland and Fleetwood, but you know, we still couldn't get the win. Accrington pressed off the park, we couldn't get the 3 points, we couldn't turn them into goals, we couldn't be clinical on goal. With Matt Smith back, with Fajiri Okunabiri back, with Coppinger hopefully back at some point, and with Josh Sims hopefully going to start some games now, we're in a better position. And with Tom Anderson back in the defence as well, and leading the team by the captain's armband, we've got a better chance of winning this game now. So we're going to go straight into this and look at my predicted team and why I've chosen the predicted team. So taking into account Smith, Okunabiri, Coppinger and Anderson coming back. So let's have a look. So in goal, no surprise, Ellery Balcom. No surprises there, no other options. Back four, Halliday, Captain Anderson, Butler and James. No surprises there as well. Halliday and James, fullbacks, natural fullbacks, even though they've got versatility about them like every other player in the squad. But two out-and-out fullbacks, main position fullbacks. And overall, you know, I've got no problems with them. I think that Halliday probably had one of his worst games against Sunderland. Was a little bit better was better against Accrington than Sunderland, but you know, hopefully he can have one of those games again. Same with Reece James, very physical, can have one of those games. Butler is a brick wall, and he can show that once he's got his partner back, and that is his partner in crime, Captain Tom Anderson. I think Tom's back for this game, obviously. I think he's going to be back in this game, back in the starting lineup as well. And I know Darren Moore's not one of these men that likes to take risks with players, but I think we need Anderson back in that back line, leading. You could hear it on the commentary against Accrington. You could hear him directing the players, even though they couldn't hear him. He was on the commentary, you know, telling the players, you know, what they need to do. You know, he was literally getting the orders out. So, you know, he's got that captain's mentality even on commentary, let alone just on the pitch and off the pitch. And it's so important we get that guy back in the squad today. In the midfield, John Bostock and Matt Smith back in the squad after a knock. Matt Smith back in, versatile, box-to-box playmaker. Bostock, the experienced holding midfielder, to give him that partnership. I think that's very, very key. I was debating between Bostock and Robertson, but I went with Bostock eventually, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Robertson come on for at least the last half an hour of the match. On the wings, either side of the cam, Richards, which we'll go on about in a bit, Sims and Taylor. Taylor on the left, Sims on the right. I've got no qualms about that. Sims needs to start. Taylor on the left. Simios is not in the squad for this one because I think that Taylor is a better player, and obviously Lakilo has been putting in better performances than Simoes. It's not Simios now, it's Simoes. I don't think that's how it's pronounced. So Taylor's been putting in better performances. He was a man possessed at certain points against Accrington. So I think that he's bound to start, and I think Sims needs to start alongside him. And of course, Taylor Richards at cam, no surprises there with that one. I think that overall, I think You know, he's just a wonderful player, and he needs to start this game if we need to put Hull to the sword if we can. And up front, of course, Omar Bogle should have got a couple of chances against Accrington, but you could see what he's going to do in this squad. Once he gets the right service, you could see what he's going to do in this squad. And of course, when he gets his clinicalness back, you know what he could do. And then on the bench, obviously, I think there's like a rule or something. You've got to have at least 2 homegrown talents on the bench. I think that's probably our rule, or it might be just a rule in general. So I've used that just in case. I've stuck with that rule just in case. And I've gone with Jones, John, Wright, Greaves, Robertson, Gomez, and Okunabiri on the bench. Now, the reason why I've gone for Okunabiri on the bench is because I don't think he's 100% fit enough to start. Smith, yes, I started him. Anderson, yes, I've started him, but you don't see Coppinger anywhere on the bench because, one, you've got to have the 2 homegrown talents, which is Greaves and Jones. I mean, if Coppinger was to come onto the bench, I would probably put him in place of Gomez because I think Gomez has just not been 100% since he's come back. So, and that's helped a little bit by, you know, not playing his natural position because he's not a CDM, he's not a holding midfielder, he's a cam, he's a playmaker. And if there's a way we can play the 4-2-3-1 with 2 cams, I'd like that to be the case because I think that Gomez and Richards as 2 pressing physical cams, you know, with Smith or Bostock or Robertson behind them as the CDM to sort of direct that play, and have the wingers Taylor and Sims, or Okunabiri and Sims, or Okunabiri and Taylor, or the Kilos in there, or Samoes is in there, to drag back. On the attack, play as wingers, but drag him back in the defence as wide midfielders or wide midfield wingers, shall we say, like not winger fullbacks, not wing backs or anything like that, just on the same level as the centre midfielder, and then the attack, you go right forward to where the cams are. So, I mean, that would be a nice way of playing the 4-2-3-1. I don't think that will be the case. I think it is just going to be the 2 centre midfielders and a cam. So I think for now, Gomez just isn't playing in that position. So, yeah, I mean, I know Richards can't play 90 minutes at the minute. Apparently, according to Darren Moore, Richards can't play 90 minutes now. So, if you're going to bring Gomez on in this game, bring him on at the cam position. Bring him on to replace Taylor Richards because for like the last half an hour. Because when he's playing in that cam position, he's on it. He's pressing. He's all over people. He's playing his natural game. I don't like him as a holding CDM, and that's where I have the problems with Magic Gomez. That's why he's been inconsistent at times this season, before and after the injury. He had a great start to the season, went on a bit of an inconsistency, got injured, he's come back, and he's not looked good ever since. He's been inconsistent again this season, but he had a good start. He had a promising start this season, but then the inconsistency and then the injury floored him. So play him in his natural position. Play him as a cam. Play him as a cam. If you're not going to give Richards 90 minutes today, for the last half an hour, 25 minutes, put Gomez at cam. Put Robertson in the midfield with Bostock or Smith, whichever one gets taken off. Or if you're going to put James in the midfield and you're going to bring John on at left back, and then also bring on Robertson, then maybe James and Robertson as that physical holding midfield to maybe seal out a win or try and make it a bit more comfortable in the midfield and then nick a goal at the end. So there's many different ways you could play it, but you play Gomez as a cam, not a holding CDM. Of course, you know, Cameron John on the bench, no surprises there. I think, again, he needs to keep learning from off the bench, you know, he's not 100%. I think Darren Moore said the reason why he didn't start against Accrington is because he wasn't 100%. So, I mean, there was no mention there of, you know, he needs time out to learn or something like that. I mean, that could be a reason behind the scenes, but we don't know that yet. So, we know he wasn't 100%. It looks like he could be 100% for today, but I'm hoping he doesn't start because I want to see James in the left-back position. And then John maybe comes in as a centre-back if you need to bring Butler off, or you can't bring Wright on, if you want to put him at right-back maybe at some point, and maybe bring Taylor off for Wright, then maybe put Halliday on the wing, and then Sims on the left wing, and then Wright at right-back, then maybe Cameron John could get some opportunity at centre-back at some point. So, but this is a crucial game. This is an absolutely crucial game. And we need to rely on Hull City putting out a weaker team. Well, not a weaker team, but like play him in a way that maybe some fans aren't happy with. I think that's one of our hopes. If they go out with the proper team, because I think we're expecting Malik Wilkes to start. I think that Many fans were upset that Josh Emmanuel wasn't starting. If he's on the bench, that might be better news for us. There's a couple of players I'd like to see benched, but I don't really want to name them in case the opposition see this before the match. But I think that overall we need to just come out firing and prove we're not just some walkover. So finally then, prediction time. What am I predicting before the match starts? I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I think that we're just going to edge it. But if we batter them, then I'll be ecstatic. I'll be professional. I'll be, trying to keep it calm, but I'll be ecstatic. So I'd like to see us go at them. Don't leave gaps in the defence. Tom Anderson will hopefully lead that defence, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be going for them and going completely at them. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this match preview for Hull City. Stay tuned for the match review tonight, this afternoon. And for now, guys, my name is Aaron Chandler from Forever Football, DRFC. Keep living the Rovers life. And for now, guys, that is full time. Let's get the win. Rovers till I die.